Gotta love technical issues. I'm just gonna keep talking, so when the sound does come back on.
So hopefully we're back and everybody's got some audio, and leave it to be season 3 or season 2 champion.
Oh, it sounds like Andy's still having some audio trouble over there.
I'm not having. You have to yell at my kid who's won't tell me if we have audio yet. But leave it to the championship night for the problems, right? So
it's funny. I finally worked all my issues out. I get here on time. I'm ready to go. Here we are, season 2 championship, and you're the one causing problems. This reminds me a lot of IROC.
Yes. So let's go back, and hopefully we've got sound now, right? And let's talk about the points. We've got Gaiman, Kraus, Harrius, Gear, and Gudenkopf all right in the hunt. Can take home this championship tonight. What are you looking for tonight, Tom?
Well, like I was saying earlier,
nobody
you really
heard
can't.
Now they hear it. Now my son just came back and told me they hear it. So,
well, that's good to know. So, as the famous Missy Elliott once said, let's put that thing down, flip it, and reverse it, all the way back to the beginning. So you guys see the points on the board. As I was saying previously, when you guys couldn't hear us, you could basically throw a blanket over the top four. This really is anybody's championship trophy board to take home. Kurt Gudenkopf, I don't think we're going to have the field tonight for him to pull it off, but what does that say about showing up to every race? And not just showing up to every race, but finishing every race.
Absolutely. There's no quitting Kurt, right? It doesn't matter if he's 10 laps down, 4 laps down. On the lead lap, he finishes the race. And being there and being ahead of those guys that are dropping out and leaving early because they're not going to win or they're not going to finish on the lead lap has put him into this 5th position right now because he's gained every single point he possibly can every race.
Absolutely, and to further that point, and I'm sure our broadcasters, when they get in here, would back this point up, is he's had a struggle all season. He's not one of the fastest guys, but when's the best time to pick up points in a race? It's those last 3 laps. Sometimes the last 10 laps. The leaders are going to make a mistake unless it's stretched out. I mean, there's so much opportunity for the guys up ahead of you, no matter where you are, to have an issue that puts them in the pit for the remainder, and you can pick up those points just by hanging out and finishing your race.
Absolutely. So now let's go back one more time, and let's talk about this this prize board that these gentlemen are racing for.
So, again, even though it's the first time for you guys out in YouTube world, so B&B Wraps is a company that they actually produce vinyl wraps for automobiles, particularly the race cars. And what this gentleman does is he prints out these vinyl wraps, wraps them around a piece of wood, and he ships these off as a trophy to the winners for our Veterans League. You've seen the logo down there in the bottom left. Guy does really good work. He designs these himself. Anything from coffee cups to semi-trucks, this guy can put a vinyl in it.
So with that being said, let's run through our veteran supporters that we have riding along with us tonight. Let's start off with B&B.
Absolutely. As I just said, he's been printing these trophy boards for us. They look really good. I mean, these things are professionally done. They look great. I've seen a lot of his work. He actually live streams a lot of his prints for his customers. So if you're into racing, if you're into the backside of racing and kind of what goes into the small minutiae and the details of the sport, you can see how the paint schemes are actually made on a printer before they get applied. I think he goes live typically about twice a week. I'm not sure what days, but go follow his page at B&B Wraps on Facebook. And maybe you can see one being made for our champion tonight.
Awesome. And we got Pujanowski.
So, I've said before, Pujanowski is very hard to spell. He just launched a Facebook group within the last couple of weeks called Nowski Nation, Nowski. You have to look up the Facebook group, follow this guy's streams. Super positive attitude. He's actually one of the faster guys out there I do watch that stream on the Facebook platform. Greatly entertaining, great supporter of ours. Big shout out to Pujanowski.
Back charities.
I'm a big fan of this one, but I might be a little bit biased. So BACC Charities looks to expand a little bit of the success that has been had with the Tyler Daniels Racing Group. So Tyler Daniels Racing is obviously a group of community members that are very charitable, very giving. We've helped a lot of people over the course of its inception through today. BACC Charities is an opportunity to expand upon that outside of not just video games, but card games, board games, sports, and then other video games outside of iRacing too. Go check them out at bacccharities.com. Anything you give, you can be assured it's going to a good cause. Give back with Back Charities.
McConey Setup Shops. Jeff, one of my favorite guys. What does he do?
Yeah, honestly, McConey set up as a product. It is a very good product. They just registered for LLC, so they're government recognized. They have to report to these guys. They are held accountable for the quality of product they put out, unlike a lot of the setup suppliers that are, out there on, quote, the service. Outside of the company, Jeff is one of the most stand-up guys I've interacted with. You and I have both interacted with him on several occasions professionally. They roll out a really good product. The prices are really affordable. Their victories, their setups, your victories. McConeySetupShop.com.
And finally, we're going to get to hear from this gentleman today. But we've got It's Thursday with Justin the Person.
Yes, so It's Thursday, believe it or not, is live most days, oftentimes on Thursday. Justin the Person, really entertaining guy, highly intelligent. I found most of his broadcasts tend to be about commercials he dislikes, but he throws in a lot of music there, a lot of general chat about a whole variety of subjects, and he's able to speak about these subjects very intelligently. Super entertaining stuff. We'll have him on the broadcast later tonight, so stay tuned and hear a little bit from Justin the Person.
Awesome. While we have a little bit of time, I want to give a shout out to a couple of and recognize a couple of the vets that we have that have raced in the series. They're looking forward to next season and to make this little announcement. These gentlemen are going to be racing next year in the Gander trucks. So give them a little bit more room on the racetrack. We've seen a lot of stuff with the smaller tracks. Hopefully with this it'll open it up. But they're gaining a whole lot more horsepower. But let's take a look at some of these vets that might be running next season. We got Jason Parkinson is going to be driving the number 64. He is a U.S. Air Force veteran. 64 Air Force. What kind of truck is that there?
It looks like a Ford.
It is a Ford. Good job.
Hard to tell from that angle.
That was a test.
I know this one.
We got Scott Heroin, the number 50. He's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran driving the number 50 Marine Corps Toyota Tundra. Then we have Devin Zinnerman, number 33. I don't know if he's in tonight's race or not. We're showing off his street stock here. He is a U.S. Air Force active duty member.
Yep, I actually got confirmation from the Zimmerman team. He will be racing tonight, and I believe they do have their in-car audio working.
Fantastic. We got Michael Smith, also known as Boogity Motorsports, driving the number 10. He is a U.S. Army veteran.
Yeah, Boogity Motorsports, one to watch. The guy's got some talent, and he also has his in-car audio functioning tonight.
We got Jason Jacobs, number 13, U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He is driving the Ford as well. And also, he is House of Jacobs on Twitch. I had an opportunity to visit his Twitch stream last night, and he plays a game on Xbox that you have to dance to the moves. And he was definitely playing Lady Gaga. He was playing Lady Gaga and dancing like Lady Gaga last night. And it was a great time.
Yes, I happened upon his stream one night. I forgot who it was that was streaming. He not only does that dance video game, he also has a mountain bike simulator.
Wow, I haven't seen that one yet.
Rig and all. This guy plays games to work out, which going back to BACC Charities, video games aren't just about having fun. They can actually benefit you in life.
Absolutely. And also a big shout out to Jason for he's the one that made these graphics.
Very good job, Jason. These are beautiful.
We got Corey Harris, number 89, U.S. Army veteran. He'll be driving a Ford as well. He's one of our top drivers, and right now in practice, our fastest car.
Yep, absolutely. And he's another one with in-car audio functioning tonight.
Kevin Gear. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Gear.
Kevin Gear, number 11, U.S. Army retired. He will be driving a Chevy, U.S. Army Chevy.
And now that we've gotten through the 3 unofficial teammates, the Gear in number 11, Harrigus in the 89, and Smith in the number 9, unofficially have all been working together. Probably the last 4 or 5 races. I would expect an official announcement before season 3.
And here we go. We got Jeremy Gaiman, number 9, U.S. Army veteran. He will also be driving a Chevy Silverado.
I can't wait to see if he can drive a truck as fast as he can drive a street jog, because that kid has some speed.
They are great. And looking at some of these practice times are freaking awesome, too. But I just wanted to give a quick shout-out and thank those guys for their service and highlight them. I think it's an awesome job, and I thank Jason for making those graphics for us as well.
Absolutely. We do this whole broadcast because of them, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this.
So is our guest, is he ready for us, Tom?
He's in the booth. It looks like he has the red light on his microphone. Let's see if he can hear us and he can turn that off. You got a read on us here, Justin, the person?
I do. Do you have a read on me?
Welcome
it depends.
back,
Are you an open book?
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind words earlier. I was listening.
Absolutely. So you sat in on the booth before. Have you watched much auto racing in general, not even iRacing? Have you paid more attention to the sport since that first encounter with us?
Yeah, because I knew hopefully I'd be back on, so I wanted to know a little bit more, but also, yeah, I became interested in it, as I think anybody would once they watch it.
Yeah, I agree. It's very entertaining stuff. It's a lot about the intensity. People think it's just turning left and going in circles, when with oval racing, it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I don't know. I don't have a comparison because I never watched NASCAR, but I had friends that did. And they tried to get me into it, much like with pro wrestling, but both those things I was like not as excited as they were. But something about the gaming part of this makes it cooler to me, I guess. You know, because I would do this.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think when you were in last, if I'm not mistaken, they were running that figure 8 with a bridge, so they were turning left and right that night.
Yeah, I think Australia it was?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was all right-hand turns that night, if I remember correctly.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I was, I never thought or was aware that, like, there's, like, tracks everywhere and they're different in ways. So, it's like somebody was saying earlier that video games are educational. That's definitely true in this case because it opened my eyes to it. I'm not like a closed-minded person. I just need to be, like, exposed to it in the right way. And I think you guys are awesome at it. So kudos to you.
Well, at least we got one fan.
Yeah. So what's been going on Thursdays here lately, Justin?
Well, Thursday in name mostly lately because it's not been Thursday nights for me. But when I do broadcast, like you said, I tend to be talking about commercials I don't like. For whatever reason, I don't think I started it based on that, but it just seems like when I look back at what I do, I'm like, wow, I was talking about commercials. Like, I really hate things on TV. And then the more I think about that, I'm like, I pretty much do. I really dislike things on TV, and I don't know. I guess that lends itself to my meandering show, which my mom is usually my guest, and she always hates the fact that we don't have a set thing. And you can watch if you go back and watch. Like there's definitely examples of how I say I'm going to do something, and then I don't do it. Like later we're going to be talking about cats and dogs, and then I don't do it. It's like, and all these people are commenting. It's just so weird to have a live broadcast. Is all I'm saying.
So besides the it's Thursday show, that's not always on Thursdays, and it's about TV that
right.
You hate.
We're going to try for that harder.
Yeah, we
in the future for sure.
You're doing something else as well. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, I just like last night started doing mysteries and I guess kind of true crime. And I mean, there sure are a lot of like documentaries and people obsessed with it. And I'm not saying I do it in any kind of different way, but I just think that it's a good, like the people I know on Facebook, like that would watch It's Thursday, like I think it would be a good place to also have those discussions. So I think when I don't go live on actual Thursdays, it won't be a Thursday show. It'll be another mystery or another case that somebody had worked on or somebody's missing, you know?
So these are
Very
true life cases that has gone missing and not found, or things of that sort, correct?
Yeah, and I'll stick to more popular things. Like there's one on Netflix about the girl in the elevator from the Cecil Hotel. So I think I'll be doing that next, mostly because it's popular. And the one I did last night, it was kind of something I was obsessed with. So I found out I was explaining it to everybody. So I want to kind of pick stuff that's more popular so people are already in on the discussion.
Right.
And I'm thinking about calling it What Keeps You Up at Night or something. I certainly think about these things a lot. And, you know, I enjoy Thursday so much, that program, that like if I had another night to do just this, I think I would really enjoy it. And I think a lot of other people would too. And they could get in on it more.
So
that sounds really interesting.
So how does everybody watch tonight? How do they find you?
Unfortunately, I don't do it from a page, which I should because I have an It's Thursday page. But I know more people from my personal page. So if they can find me on Facebook, it's Justin the Person. I think if you type it into search, it'll come up that way. Awesome. Or Justin R. Taylor is my full name. So,
and of course,
you'll see me getting hit. You'll see me getting hit in the face with snow on my profile, so you know that's the one.
And of course, we always share when we can your page.
Yeah, you guys are the best with that. I so appreciate that. Getting a shout.
Well, we appreciate you coming along and jumping in here and talking about what you're doing now. We invite you to stick around for the race and.
Definitely.
And we'll maybe chat with you during the race as well. This one's going to be an exciting one, so I really encourage you to stick around and hang out and have some
I will.
fun.
You guys are so good at this, man. You're so cool at what you do. I am in awe.
Awesome. Well, at this time, we're going to go ahead. We're going to kick this thing off. Get this race going, get some excitement into it, and kick it off to our announce team. That is going to be Aaron Johnson, Sean Risley, and Adam Rickey. Gentlemen, welcome to Championship Night.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Andy. I appreciate it. I know Adam and Sean are ready to get rolling. A lot of excitement tonight, and there's going to be a lot for us to talk about.
Yeah, the first thing that we got to talk about, I know everyone's want to talk about the points. We got to talk about the new iRacing damage model. That is going to be the story tonight. We've already seen it in practice. You rub fenders, you cut down tires, you slam up into the wall, and it's going to be exciting.
I literally saw a tire come off a car tonight, and I don't know if you guys saw my face on our little stream here, but I was amazed at the new damage model. It's incredible.
Yeah, you know, this morning we ran a couple of races in some of our other leagues, and it's not just the damage model. The tire smoke model seems to really make racing a lot harder too. It's one of those things where you get in and somebody gets a little sideways or you have a little internet lag and all of a sudden you're blind. And that really creates a lot of problems for drivers.
Yeah, the iRacing team did a really great job of building out this new model, and it's just so different, you know, between the smoke, between the damage. You know, there's other tire modeling, just the way some of the cars are handling is completely different. And that just adds a whole new aspect to the final race of the season for this group.
I imagine, obviously, with COVID and the pandemic, a lot of us, myself included, got into iRacing. I've always wanted to get into it, but I did it because, you know, I obviously had some spare time sitting in my basement. And I think there's a lot more people like myself who have actually raced cars out there before and have expressed their feelings to iRacing. And I think we've been heard. And I think the improvements over the last 6 months have been incredible.
You know, I think that's a really good point. I spent 10 years as a crew chief on a short track team back in Missouri, and I got into iRacing because there was COVID, racetracks were closed. I couldn't even get out to the track to go see a race. So I think that's an excellent point, Sean. And you know, when iRacing rolls out their new seasons, they often make some subtle changes to the tracks as well. So it's going to be interesting tonight to see if this track at Charlotte's going to provide some other challenges.
I absolutely agree with you there, Aaron, because I couldn't get to my local short track. And actually what my local short track did is they started our racing league. And I'm from the Northeast, so we raced modifieds, the SKs, the SK lights. And I would just get online and I would start watching them. And the next thing you know, I was like, I need to get a computer. I need to get on this thing. And then there was no delay anymore. So
it's really been a godsend for some of us. I mean, for me, we've been trapped in our house, and iRacing's really been a good outlet. And then getting involved with TDR and then with back charities, it's been an awakening and a really great thing to be a part of. I'm excited tonight to see how our vets go about settling this championship. I mean, there's 3 points between the top 3 drivers. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be a great story here tonight with the points, the way that it is. And it's not just the top 3, it's really the top 6 as a whole, top 7, because you have a really close battle through the top 3. And then you also have that 5th, 6th, 7th position are all really tight as well. Staying the person in 4th, with Kevin Guillier, he's kind of a little bit out of maybe getting the championship with the amount of cars that we have, but he also has a good little bit of protection from that 5th, 6th, and 7th position as well.
Well, we know in racing anything can happen, and these 3 guys, they're generally up front all the time. Who knows how aggressive they're going to be, and if Kevin's there to take advantage of maybe some mistakes, there's definitely a possibility for him to move up and maybe steal a championship here, and I think that's great. Also, I'd just like to take a second, Andy, Tommy, thank you so much for putting those graphics together in the beginning with all the veterans that race here. Truly, those are some of the most incredible badasses I've ever seen in my entire life.
No doubt. And again, this being the last race of this season, thank you guys for what you do. I feel like we really do have a good team together for this whole thing, between video, audio on my end, you guys calling the whole thing. Season 3 is going to be tremendous.
I think season 3 is going to be tremendous. I'm looking forward to calling some races in the truck series. Tonight though, Adam, you mentioned the new damage model. Is there something specific you want to point out?
Yeah, the car falls apart. I think that's probably the biggest thing to point out. Tires come off, bumpers, hoods come off. We ran an enduro. You mean the other night, just as something fun to do, and there's a great picture. I beat Andy by like 0.8 of a second. I was missing a tire. There was no bumper. The hood was stuck on somebody else's car. It's absolutely fantastic. It's way more realistic, and it's really going to change the way we see the outcome of this race. I really think it's going to play a part.
I have not been able to race yet with this new damage model. Actually, my first race is going to be our TDR Gas and Go tomorrow on Sunday night, which I'm looking forward to. So I might have to hop in a little earlier tomorrow morning and start getting my feet wet again with this new damage model, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I was not able really to see much in terms of the damage model today. I was able in a couple of races I ran to keep my car really clean, which is unusual. But I did get to see a lot that happened with the smoke obscuring your vision, especially in practices. So I really think here at Charlotte, a couple cars get to sliding around, and it's going to change the way these drivers see the racetrack, and that's going to change some outcomes.
The biggest thing with racing is you have to be able to look ahead. And now with the new smoke model, you can't see through it. Like, everybody will probably be able to say the reference of like Days of Thunder, just drive through it. I know it in my heart, right? Like, all that smoke, that's what it looks like now. And it's very realistic, and I enjoy it immensely.
I don't know if you guys have seen yet. It looks like our qualifying order coming up here, shaken up a little bit. Curtis didn't look like he had a good qualifying lap there. Devin, who's not even in our top 6 in points, is up front. Jeremy's up there with Justin Jarrett. Jarrett's a little bit back there, but as you look at this qualifying order, this is going to make for a very interesting race tonight.
Absolutely. I think you take a look at what we see right now. The top 3 in qualifying weren't the top 3 in practice. So the 3 fastest practice times are not showing up in the top 3 qualifying times. If you put the fast cars behind some that maybe are a little slower under race trim, you create a lot of opportunities to try to pass somebody or to bounce off of somebody. Either one of those things can happen.
When you look at the qualifying times too, I mean, Adam, when we look here, we were looking at, the top three are separated by what, 0.02 of a point or of a second, sorry. And as we kind of scroll through here a little bit, if we look through the top 5, 7, 8 guys here, it is super tight up front.
Yeah, and the big thing there is this is like a super speedway for these cars. They're just in the gas the whole time. They're keeping it tight to the line. And that's why we're seeing the times be so close. It's very easy to replicate very similar laps. Well, how that's going to change once we get in the race is how the draft is going to affect everything that happens. Things are going to happen a lot quicker. They're going to be bumper to bumper. There's going to be a lot of things going on with that.
That's actually a question I have for you. On this track, with these cars, does the draft play a factor?
It 100% will play a factor, and they've done some different things with the draft model, and I know it was affecting other series. I'm not really sure how it's going to affect the street stocks, but there's the opportunity to side draft. You can really get up on someone's quarter panel, especially coming out of 4, and really slow them down, even under the old model. So I don't know if that's going to be more involved with the new model.
What is the spoiler situation on the back of these cars? You mentioned side draft. So if I'm getting up on your left rear quarter panel, am I going to be able to take the air off that car, really pull them back and make the pass? Do you think that's going to be a factor tonight?
I think if they know what they're doing, you can definitely affect the draft in a way that you can use it to your advantage. You're not really going to see it on the inside of the car. You're going to really have to see it on the outside. If you're going to be making any types of moves, it's really going to be getting 2 to 3 cars on the outside. So that way, when the inside lines are stacking up going in the corners, you can get those really good runs all the way through.
So, Adam, I know a lot of our listeners probably have been around racing, but there are a lot of people that misunderstand that the side draft actually does more to slow that inside car down than it does to speed up the outside car. And that's another change in strategy from what we think of with the regular draft, that the slingshot pass that Richard Petty kind of made famous. The side draft's a little bit different. And as a driver, how does that play into your racecraft and the plans that you're making?
So how it really plays into it is it's a timing thing, right? Like, when do you want to make that pass? Do you have someone that's going to be able to help you? Because the last thing you want to do is, you say you're in second, you pull out on the outside of that leader, you get on that quarter panel, and then you're by yourself, and then you got 5, 6 people on, the inside of you. It's going to be really hard to make that pass still. So you have to know it's there, but what you also have to be careful. I'm going to keep coming back to this damage model. Like, you used to be able to touch a little bit and you could get away with that. I don't think you're going to get away with that anymore. Like, you do that, you're going to have a left front flat tire. You're going to the wall. That's how your night is going to end at that point.
Well, it looks like the cars are lining up on the speedway. We're getting close to green. Sean, if you got one thing you're going to watch for in the race today, what's that going to be? What's the one key for you at Charlotte?
I would say staying out of trouble. I mean, in any championship race, staying out of trouble, being there at the end, that is the most important thing. I mean, they talk about it in every single series, and this is definitely not a difference at all. Adam, what do you think your key will be?
My key is going to be right around the championship side, is know who you're racing. Right? You don't have to win the race to win the championship. You have to know where those people are around you. You have to know what their points are. And you have to be playing, the long game, right? You need to, win the war, right? That's the entire season. Right now it's just a battle, but you want to win the war if you're in that points battle, and you have to be mindful. And if you're going to be 5th that night, but that can get you your championship, you don't need to finish 4th. You don't need to push for that extra position just to finish higher up in the standings.
Well, those are both important things to think about. I'll throw mine in. I was a lifelong David Pearson fan, my all-time favorite driver. And the one thing David Pearson always did was he made sure he was there at the end. And that's what I'd say to any of the drivers tonight. You need to make sure you're going to be there at the end. It's a long race. Take care of your stuff. Keep your nose clean. And when the time comes, you're going to be ready to roll.
And one of the other things that we haven't really talked about is, the previous champion is Justin Jarrett. He doesn't really have a shot at the championship. He could definitely improve his final points, finish, but you're in for the championship. What are the nerves right now? You're new to iRacing. You've never been in that before. Maybe you've never experienced it in the real world either. You have to go in with a certain mindset of, I want to be that champion. What's it going to take to get me there? And I think that's really what we need to be thinking about for some of these drivers who are in that point. What are their nerves right now? what's this first lap going to look like when they all start jiving around and getting all swirly and sideways and running side by side at high speed?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see, especially as we get down to crunch time. Obviously maybe in the beginning here we have a little more give and take. As we get a little closer to the end, a little more take. I know these guys are all very respectful on the track, but we'll see how that kind of shakes out. As it is a championship race. You're going for a win here. I mean, I know that honestly, the only people that are really concerned about this are the guys on the track and maybe their friends might be watching tonight. But there's some pride with these guys. I mean, we know their background. These are all military gentlemen here. They're competitive guys, and I'm very interested to see how this thing shakes out.
The pace car is in. Devin Zimmerman, your pole sitter, is going to lead them into the tri-oval. It's the points leader, Jeremy Gaiman, to his outside, and the green flag is out, and it is going to be Zimmerman that's going to take the lead as they go past the start-finish line down into turn number 1. It's going to be the 85 of Justin Jarrett just behind Zimmerman.
And it looks like we got a little bit of action happening in the back. I want to say that was Lonnie Nixon. He might have already touched the outside wall very early on into this race.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little loose. I couldn't see if he had any help or, a typical restart on a track here where he just kind of gets out of the gas or maybe someone bumps him from behind. We all know that restarts are a little tough, especially in a championship race where the nerves might be just a little bit high.
Yeah, and one of the things we're seeing already is they moved into single file, which is not what I was expecting out of the gate. I would have thought we would have seen a little bit more side-by-side racing, and that might be a little bit different with some of the models for the recent updates.
Already starting to see 2 packs form. Zimmerman continues to lead as they go down the back straightaway. Jarrett just on his back bumper. We've got about a 6-car breakaway, then a gap to a second pack in this early stages of the race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, maybe everybody's just kind of settling in, trying to feel the car out. I mean, qualifying was super tight, so I expected them to see kind of, just like this in the beginning. We only have 65 laps on this track, and I know that sounds like a lot, but on this track, I don't expect a lot of cautions tonight, though that might be the announcer's jinx, as one just comes out right now.
Just so you know, Aaron, you muted yourself accidentally with everything that's going on there. Hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit with the replay. We can see a little bit there. We definitely had some contact going down into the one turn. Hopefully we'll be able to get a good image of that. We can break down what happened there.
Technical difficulties look like they're extending on into the broadcast from what we had earlier today. My apologies. It looked like a little trouble. I don't know who was involved. Charlotte, one of those tracks where it's really easy once one car gets out of shape for a whole bunch of other cars to end up in the middle of that mess.
Yeah, it's a high-speed track, and as we see in this damage model, there's a tire rolling down to the infield here. As we kind of catch the tail end of this, I didn't catch who. Looks like they came down a little bit there. Looks like I can't get that. Adam, if you can tell me who those are.
That's the 13 of Jason Jacobs, and the 01 is Christopher Rawlings. I didn't see, looked like it might have been the 10 was up in the wall too. That would be Michael Smith, but I wasn't certain about the 10 car.
Even though these corners, or this track is big, these corners, and Adam, you'll have to maybe speak to this. I haven't raced a late model on this track in quite some time, but you're coming in high, you're kind of diamonding the corner a little bit. There is a little give on the car. I don't think you're wide out in the corners unless you tell me otherwise, Adam. But again, these guys are just trying to feel things out and see how it goes, and maybe someone just got a little more aggressive going to that corner than they should have been.
It definitely looks like we didn't see really where the start was. You could see where one car was already spinning before they even got into the one turn. But to answer your question, there is a bit of a transition from where you come out of the tri-oval area up onto in the one turn. There's a little bit of a hump where it just makes the car just get a little bit freer. That's a really sensitive spot if there's going to be any level of contact.
I have found coming out of that tri-oval, going into one is the most difficult part of this track, and I think it's the most underrated part of this track when you race it. I was pretty decent in 3 and 4, but getting off of the tri-oval, getting into one, and this is one of the very first tracks I ever went on. This is one of the very first cars I ever went on in iRacing, but that was my biggest bugaboo on this track.
Yeah, it's one thing, because every time you go to a different track and you think a 1.5 mile track, they're all the same. They're not. They're all very, very different. They have different characteristics to them, and it's something every driver has to learn. Like for here with these cars, yes, it's flat out, but you also have to know wheel input. You have to know what the weight transition do, and maybe you just back out of the throttle just enough to keep the weight a little bit lower on that transition component. Because as you were seeing come out here on this tri-oval, it's really flat. There's not a lot of banking. And, as we're kind of going is you'll see where it starts to turn, just when you're up against the wall, there's just like a little hump just as you're transitioning down into the turn.
You can absolutely feel that transition as well. You can feel it in the wheel. So if you're racing with force feedback, it gives you a really good feel in it. And you can feel the car try to get out from under you just a little bit as you come into that transition, as you go down to turn number 1.
And that's the thing, and that's an iRacing thing as well. You talk about the force feedback. I guarantee everybody in this race is racing with some kind of different wheel. Might be a couple very similar setups, but a lot of different wheels, a lot of different skill sets. This is a great track for these cars, but even though it's kind of a super speedway for them, it's still not an easy track. This isn't Daytona where it's wide open and it's all about just speed, draft. The car is going to handle just fine. Don't worry about it. This probably is a lot more handling track than you would think.
Absolutely. You have to have a good race car, and you have to have a race car that, at least when I've raced here in the Street Stock Series, you have to be able to trust that your car is going to do what you want it to do when you want it to do that. And that a lot of that has to do with you as a driver, but it also has to do with the particular setup you're using and the inputs. Change wheels, change pedals, changes the way the car races.
And that's one thing we haven't talked about all season long is, how does the individual driver's equipment matter? Like it matters in the real world, what car, what manufacturer, what engine, all these things. And for the iRacer, what pedals, what steering wheel are you using? All those things have different levels of different quality where they create different levels of sensitivity, and also the level of input and how exact it can be with the levels of input. And I think that's a really interesting part of the conversation. Because if you run no force feedback, you can't feel what's happening in the track. You run a lot of force feedback, and you have a direct drive wheel, you hit the wall, you might have your wheel pulled right out of your hand, just like you would like a real car if you hit the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I'm still trying to figure out how to set my wheel up, and we obviously change it from track to track. Very interesting here on the restart. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Kurt has actually moved up. He didn't qualify all that well, but he's sitting back here in, I believe, 4th place, 5th place. Lonnie, who hit the wall earlier, he's back up into 4th. Our front guys are still there, but a little bit of a shakeup. The 01, who I think was involved in that little incident, is up there. So we're going to go back to the green here, and very interested to see how this goes.
Lights are off on the pace car. Pace car is in. It'll be the 33 of Zimmerman that will lead the field back around to the green flag as they take a restart at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Zimmerman on the throttle hard. It looks like he's going to be racing just in front of the 09 of Jeremy Gaiman. Jeremy, the points leader, sitting in 3rd. Behind him, it's Mixon and then Gudenkauf and the 89 of Corey Herges side by side.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is with Devin Zimmerman, he hasn't run with us all year. I want to say this is his first race in this series. He's out leading the race. He's in command. He had a good restart there. He's in front of the former champion. He's in front of the current points leader. He might be a big threat coming into the next season. So there's actually some other storylines involved with what's going on besides just the racing and the points. We might start seeing how people are going to stack up when they move up to the truck series next year.
Absolutely. Looks like a little bit of action here. We go back to the front. It's the 58 of Mixon sitting in 4th spot. He's looking to the outside of Jeremy Gaiman. At the 33 of Zimmerman continues to lead as we see again a little bit of a split. That front pack starting maybe to distance themselves just a little bit from a second group.
Yeah, it looks like those top 4 or 5 guys are just kind of stretching this lead out a little bit. They just settle in here kind of single file. I know, obviously, some of them didn't maybe qualify so well. They moved up a little bit here with that incident. Lonnie hitting the wall early on. Maybe just content to say, listen, they're 65 laps or 10 laps in. I don't need to win the race on lap 15. So I expect maybe things to settle down just a little bit. We got the nerves out. We did a caution. Everybody gets to settle their nerves a little bit and get right back to racing.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some, good racing as we get further into it. But you're right. We had that early caution. It was in the back part of the pack. They need to settle in just for a little bit, click off some of these laps, get back in line so that second pack can catch up to that front pack so we can have some really good, racing here at the end.
Gudenkauf leads the second pack just ahead of the 01 of Christopher Rollins. Just behind them is the 35 of Joseph Ralph. That group now nose to tail after running side by side for a lap or two that helped create that little distance between the two groups. It looks like they are at least in line as they head down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, but trying to stay in the line, trying to stay as fast as they can. But when you watch these cars go down, we're talking about, they don't handle great like a cup car. They're not staying right on the bottom of the track. They're waiting a little bit. They're driving the nose up, going down in the corners. They're all over the place coming out of it. These cars do not handle really well on the track the way that this currently is.
You can tell coming off the corners, they're definitely unsettled, especially when they're around each other, taking the air off each other, whatever, what have you. So the front 3 are, nose to tail. We have a battle for 4th here. And then right behind that, they're, kind of jockeying back there a little bit. That's what's allowing these front 5 to kind of take off a little bit here is the 89 and the 58 here looking Corey and Lonnie. Corey's looking inside. And this is a great race to watch so far.
Absolutely. The top 5 continue to stretch the lead out just a little bit. The best thing that can happen for that second group is going to be for the 89 and 58 to race side by side just a little bit, give them a chance to close up. Adam, if you're racing right now, you're in the middle of the sort of the first stage of the race. What are you thinking as a driver? What is it you're trying to focus on if you're in that front group?
So if I'm in the front group, I would want to be probably where Corey or Lonnie are, right? You want to be on the backside, testing what the draft is, putting the car in different spots so you can learn for later on down the road in the race. If you're the leader, you're tucked on the bottom, let the person behind you push you. You're not learning what you need to be able to do to manipulate the air or how to set up passes being in that position. And there's a lot of laps, so you got to take that time right now to learn what you can so that way you can utilize that knowledge later on in the race.
And Sean, one of the things that we've seen in a lot of races with the vets is that they race hard and they race nose to tail. But what are you thinking with respect to where you're going to be looking to make those moves? Are there certain places on this racetrack that are the best places to try to get around that car in front of you?
Probably coming off of 2, maybe a little bit of coming off of 4, but you don't have a lot of time coming off of 4 before you head into that tri-oval, so that's not exactly the best place to make moves, especially through that tri-oval. So if I can do some work in 1 and 2, maybe on the back stretch and going into 3, I might do that as we see the 12 car kind of pulling down here. Looks like he might be a lap down or just kind of giving way. So, but I have to also agree with Adam. If I'm in the front group and I'm back there and I'm the 89, 58, whatever, I'm not going to race side by side with 15 laps in a 65 lap race. I'm going to try to do a little work, but also stick with these front 5 guys because when I go to work, I don't want to worry about the guys behind me. I want to make as much distance as I can so that if I do something, I make a little bit of an error, whatever, my margin for error becomes a lot bigger. If I can stay up with these guys, separate ourselves from the rest of the pack, it gives me an opportunity to maybe make a move or be a little more aggressive. But if it doesn't work, then I'm not going to lose a position.
And you got to be thinking about risk versus reward, especially early on. And I think one of the things that we're seeing, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be an impact for this race or not, but they can't close up to each other. There's big gaps of air in between the rear bumper of the car in front and then the one that's behind them. And they're not able to suck up like we've been normally seeing with the draft. So I believe with the most recent iRacing update, the draft model that we've seen in the higher level Cup Xfinity trucks is also in existence here because normally you could pull it up and put the bumper right to someone, so they can't do that. So now they have to adapt their drafting style to this new bubble variation of iRacing, which is very realistic for like the Cup cars. But now you have to figure out, how do you set that up? How do you break that bubble? And that's something completely new for every one of these drivers in this field.
It looks like that second pack has managed to close in on the leaders. That was the 01 of McDonald that sort of pulled that second pack forward. So that second pack seemed to draft better with McDonald. They have closed onto the front group, and we've got pretty much a 10-car pack now running single file down the back straightaway. Devin Zimmerman has led every lap so far in this race. A nice showing for the new driver that's joined the Veterans League this week.
Yeah, speaking to the bubble, I mean, Adam's 100% correct here. The bubble is big. It's real big. And Adam, honestly, I don't think you can break that bubble by yourself. I think you need help, as the 01 is looking here on inside the 58. The 58 kind of protecting that position. But those two guys behind the 58, they were nose to tail for quite some time, able to make up a lot of that gap, and they brought a lot of the field with them. But yeah, these are almost very similar to the trucks with that big spoiler, big bubble of air behind it. So interesting to say. I mean, Adam, I think that you need at least another car with you if you're gonna break that bubble with the guy in front of you.
Yeah, there's different ways to be able to do it. Obviously, with the new model, I tested it in a few different hosted races. And even there's two ways to do it. If you're the person in front, you got to drag the brake a little bit to allow that person's speed to be able to get to your rear bumper. Or you need to have a good push from the person behind you. You have to swing out of it so you're out from behind them on their air. And as you get close to them, you can actually tuck back in and put your bumper right to their bumper. But also at the same time, we got the new damage model. Like, I don't know how much you really want to, put your front bumper into that person's rear bumper, and what level of damage, what type of crash that's going to cause.
Yeah, these aren't Xfinity flange cars here. If you touch a wall, you touch a bumper, you touch fenders, you're going to have a tire rub, you're going to have some serious damage. I know the Cup cars, obviously Xfinity cars, they're moving to that model, but these cars are, what we see at our local short tracks. They're sheet metal cars. They bend very easily. And, I expect that if you touch, even bumper to bumper, you might do a fair amount of damage to the car, and aero is important on this track.
Yeah, and we're starting to actually see, we got one car up on the outside. I want to say that's Gary Spratley. And he's actually making progress, and he's up there by himself. He doesn't actually have any help, but he's able to get up alongside, and he's able to slow that inside car down. And that's where we're starting to see that side draft, because where we're looking at now with Lonnie Nixon, see how much that gap's now picked up just from Gary Spratley being on the outside of him.
Absolutely. Spratley is on the outside of Mixon. They're racing side by side. Just behind them is the 01 of McDonald. The front four have not changed. It's still Devin Zimmerman with the lead, followed by the 85 of Jarrett, then the 09 of Jeremy Gaiman, and just behind them, the 89 of Corey Harridge is two of your top three in the points, running in the top four right now.
Yeah, we're starting to get some racing in the backside. We're still getting a couple of them. They're starting to stack up side by side. Looks like Christopher Rollins is getting up there with Spratley. And I think those two cars, if they can get together, they can get their energy to start pushing. I think you can start to see a two-car tandem, not really a tandem like nose to bumper, but just working together can really make some good progress moving up the outside.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You saw the 01. He obviously saw the outside car outside of Lonnie there. Making some hay, and so he jumps up behind him, and it looks like he's giving him some help. Lonnie seems to be hanging tough on the inside, not really being able to separate from that outside car, so I'm sure that's got to be a little uncomfortable with a guy on your outside lap after lap after lap, so we'll see how that goes. He's got a little help coming from behind as well, not quite there yet, so it's interesting to see these four cars running back here, how that works as we see the 8 come down and maybe take a little air off of Lonnie's car from there. So interesting. Some great racing right now.
Out front, it's still Devin Zimmerman with the lead, followed by the 85 of Justin Jarrett. It's the 58 of Mixon running side by side with that 08 car of Gary Spratley. A little bit of work on the outside as they're 2x2 for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th as they go down the back straightaway now with Zimmerman in the lead, Devin Zimmerman.
What we're seeing is Justin Jarrett has actually been able to break the bubble a few times with Devin Zimmerman. And I think that's really good use of time for like Justin right now, right? He's in second. He's going to potentially need to be able to make a move later on. And you can see he's moving around. He's pulling outside the draft, see how he can close, how tight he can get to the bumper. You see the gap there just as they're kind of going off screen. His bubble is significantly smaller than the other bubbles we're seeing among all of the other cars in the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks to me like Justin Jarrett's doing he's learning behind the wheel right now, trying to find a line that will work, maybe an approach that's going to work so that when the chips are down, he's going to be able to make a little bit of a move on Zimmerman.
Yeah, and you got to think that Jeremy's sitting there in third, obviously our points leader by 2 points, and James and Corey are not exactly around him. So like Adam was talking about, know who you're racing around. Jeremy does not need to push the issue. Those two guys in front of him do not mean anything right now. We're barely almost halfway through the race. We're getting there, but I got to think Jeremy's just, riding around a little bit here, saying, listen, I don't, there's no point sitting behind me. There's no point sitting in front of me. I'm good right now. I don't want to get super racy and see how that shakes out. And I think he's just, I'd be content right there. I don't know about you, Adam.
I think he's doing what he needs to be able to do, right? He's in for the big picture. He's in for the championship. He doesn't need to be second. He doesn't need to win. He just needs to beat the people that are closest to him at points. And he needs to race a little bit more conservatively, because that he's not behind. If he was behind and he needs every position he needs to get, he needs 2 more points. He needs to be up there passing those 2. But that's not the situation he's facing.
Right now, we have a race within a race. Devin Zimmerman leading the feature race with Jeremy Gaiman leading the points. Gaiman 1 spot ahead of the third place car in the points. That's the 89 of Corey Harridge's as he runs in 4th. So 2 races in 1. It's a double bonus tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and look back, the front 4 are just staying in line, and for 5th, 6th, and 7th, we saw the 8 outside the 58, and we saw the 01 move up. I've seen the 01 move up, try to push the 8 outside. I've seen him move down on the 58. Actually, I honestly think he's faster than the 2 cars in front of him. He just can't figure out how to get around both of them right now. They have literally been side by side, lap after lap, for probably the last 10, 12 laps.
So the big thing there is, right, he's got 2 cars that are in front of him side by side. He's got the bubble. He can't close up on him. He can't really make any moves on it. And those 2 can't figure out who's going to be the prevailing line. And just as we say that, looks like we got a little bit of action happen behind. We had a car get loose, which was Lonnie Nixon, which now maybe Christopher Rollins is going to have a place to go, right? He was one of the cars that was stacked up with the aid of Gary Spratley. So it'll be interesting to see what Christopher Rollins able to do. And he keeps putting the car out there. He's trying, and it's just part of this new aero package with the update with iRacing that's just really changing the way these races are. We've just ran in the Friday Night Lights a week ago with these cars at this track. It was side by side, 2 wide racing throughout the whole race. And here we are, a week and a half later, and it's a completely different race than what we've seen here previously.
Bradley makes his way around the 58 and Mixon got a wheel down onto the apron, got a little loose, and now Spradley started to work on the 89 of Corey Harridge's. Spradley looking to Harridge's outside as they come through the tri-oval back to the start-finish line. No dice yet, but Gary Spradley making some noise at the halfway point at Charlotte.
Yeah, very interesting. I saw the 08 after Mixon got loose, the 8 came down and started running that inside line. Maybe he's not comfortable down there because he hopped right back up into that second groove as he now hops back down and then below the line a little bit. And he is definitely loose. That's something to keep an eye on.
Spradley with a quick race car trying the inside and the outside reminds me of Larry Phillips, one of my favorite drivers. He told me, I'll try you on the inside, then I'll try you on the outside, and then I'll pick a lane for you. So maybe Spradley going to try to pick a lane.
Well, I hope he doesn't start picking a lane because, again, these cars aren't going to hold up to it. It'll cause a big crash, and, we got some other things going on. But, one of the big things that we're seeing with Spradley in particular, he is not content to stay in the position in which he is in. Everybody else is trying to let laps flick off. We're not seeing a lot of movement. He wants to go to the front. And I think he feels really confident in the car that he has. There's some things that he has to do. Like if I were to be able to get on his radio, if I was a spotter, he's got to do a better job on that side draft coming up out of the corners, where you take that air away. He's just a little bit too far away. He just made a good pass there on Corey, but then he goes down the corner, just inconsistent. Now we're up into the wall.
Yeah, that's the Adis Bradley brushes the wall. He had just managed to get by the 89. Looks like he had some room to get inside and then slid up into the wall. That's going to make for a little bit of trouble, and it's going to let the leaders have just a little bit of breathing room, at least for the time being.
Yeah, he had the 89 cleared. I mean, maybe he cleared him because he went in super deep into that corner and just couldn't hold it down there and went right up into the wall. I think he did a great job of side drafting going in there. Probably could have still held it up a lane without having to go down. But, trying to get that position, trying to slide in there. I definitely agree with what he was doing, but it just seemed like it was a little more than that car could handle.
Christopher Rollins, he's been behind Spratley for a number of laps, watching what he was doing and trying to get up there with him. So he has been using these early laps to learn a little bit more as to what's going on. And it looks like we have our leader heading to pit road.
Leader heading to pit road. We are with 30 laps to go, so just past the halfway point. That will put the 85 of Justin Jarrett in the lead.
Do we know, I'm not familiar with what our fuel situation is on here. I think the tires hold up pretty well in these cars. So fuel situation, he must have obviously seen, hey, I'm not going to make it to the end on fuel. We've been running pretty green and clean for a while now. So I don't know, Adam, if you understand the fuel situation on this, we see more guys heading to pit road.
Yeah, that's the thing right now. We're seeing green flag pit stops. It looked like Gary Spratley was trying to get slowed up with the rest of them, but wasn't able to make the turn down in. So with these races, to add in pit strategy, everything else, they're giving a limited amount of fuel. I don't know what the percentage was for this evening. Obviously, they're going to have to pit. What now, the crew chief hat in me would be, well, we're just past halfway. We had an early caution. That extended some laps. Are they going to be within their fuel window to make it to the end of the race? Or will we have to see, additional pit stops later on for just a splash of gas to get through those last couple of laps? So we're really interested to see how these strategies play out.
Gary Spratley, the current leader, he did not make it into the pits last time around. Looked like he slowed down as he came by. That might cost him some track position as the leaders come back out. He does at least have a drafting partner, but it'll be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next few laps.
And we also see, I believe, Justin Jarrett right behind him, and obviously he was about 21 points down in the points, sitting in 6th, 7th here. So maybe he's trying to play the long game here and try to extend it. Maybe he can put these guys a lap down and see how this goes and maybe catch a caution and stay out. If I was him, that's exactly what I would do. There's absolutely nothing to lose where he is in the points right now. So I think that's might be a decent strategy on his part.
Yeah, we just saw Gary try to cut down onto pit road, and it looked like he self-spun. The way the cautions are thrown with the admin here, it's 2 or more cars that will not draw a caution, and it also won't be blocking the pits because everybody else has already completed their pit strategies at this point, so there's no risk for other cars to be collected up inside of it.
Spratley is in the pits, and it looks like as we cycle back through, best guess would be that it may very well be Justin Jarrett with the lead. As we come back through, we'll know a little more as the cars flash past by the start-finish line here. Devin Zimmerman is showed out front of the 85 as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the scoring and the leaderboard changes as leaders go by.
Yeah, it looks like, Devin Zimmerman did a really good job of getting onto the pits and getting back out. They did a really good job there. It still looks like we've got some individuals who haven't pitted yet. So it's not just them going into the lead. But I think once it cycles back out, you're going to see Devin Zimmerman in the lead. You're going to get Justin Jarrett behind. And what we see now is because of the pit stops, they've actually separated out a little bit. We don't have that big pack anymore. It's a much smaller pack or more individualized as they're getting around the corners of the speedway.
Yes, Joseph Ralph, Charles McDonald have not pitted as yet. Devin Zimmerman just went by the 12 of McDonald, so that should put Zimmerman in the second spot. And I think it's going to mean that Joseph Ralph is going to be our leader until he makes his way onto pit road.
Actually, Charles McDonald, this is his first Vets race because
Charles, my bad.
It's okay. We call him Chuck. He's actually a good friend of mine. He literally just set up his iRacing setup about 48 hours ago. So this is his first race, and I know he was a lap down earlier. So I believe he pit earlier. Not entirely sure why. So interesting to see how that shakes out. Maybe he goes back in. I'm not 100% sure, but we have definitely spread this field out as we have cycled through here. Joseph Ralph, I don't know. I believe Adam, he hasn't pit yet, correct?
It does not look like Joseph Ralph has pitted, but I don't know if he pitted under that earlier caution, which would allow him to be able to go a little bit longer when we did have that caution earlier. But what we're going to start seeing now is we're seeing the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth place cars. They're starting all to get into a pack, and they're going to start drafting, and they should be able to close up on Devin Zimmerman and Justin Jarrett, who, once Joseph Ralph pits, will be taken back over the lead.
Devin Zimmerman is in second. Joseph Ralph continues to lead. He's about 5 seconds ahead of Zimmerman. Ralph has yet to pit. There are 25 laps to go. Adam, any chance that Joseph Ralph is playing the extremely long game? Can he stretch this out and hope that he can hold him off?
I don't think he can make it to the end of the race. So I don't know what he's doing. And the part that he's going to have that's hurting him right now is he's out there by himself. He has no drafting help. These cars are faster in the draft. And so he's losing time every single second, because as they're closing in, every time you see it, like we're watching it, 4.9, now we're right around 5 seconds as they're kind of moving around. But we're going to see it every lap. They're going to get a little bit closer to him. He's losing time. And then when he goes and pits, he's not going to come out with another drafting partner as well. He's going to be out there by himself still, and it's not a good strategy from my perspective.
He is absolutely a man on an island. He has no one behind him. He's going to go in. He's going to pit all by himself. I mean, his best bet is to get a caution. So maybe he knows something we don't know, but I would be very, very surprised with our caution so early in this race. The fact that, I think we've been green since lap 10, 12. I don't see someone going 55 laps on a full tank in here. I mean, I could be wrong, but I find that very hard to believe. We watch here the 10 and the 01 battling with the 89 and the 9 on the outside here. Very good racing between these four cars right now. Interested to see how this kind of shakes out. I don't know where they are position-wise on the track. So Aaron should be able to tell us where they are on the track.
The 89 of Heritage's is 2 spots ahead of the 09 of Gaiman. If my calculations are right, that would put them tied in the points. Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah, that's going to bring them together really, close. So, if you mean Gaiman, you're the points leader. You're like, okay, I just need to stay behind them. There's a couple of points in between them. So he just needs to stay there. So the thing that he can't just ride now. He's now behind the person who's making moves. And there we are. There's another pass. And, he has to now get up on the wheel, and he has to continue to push himself. And if these cars get packed up, they get around each other, we're more likely to see a crash. And that's something he has to be careful of. It's risk versus reward still with about 20 laps to go.
Out front, Joseph Ralph continues to lead. That lead has shrunk to about 4.3 seconds as Devin Zimmerman closes. Behind Zimmerman is Justin Jarrett. Jarrett would be in the 3rd spot. Corey Heritage's being shown right now in 4th with Jeremy Gaiman in 5th. Those would be your top 5. Just behind them, that's the 10 of Michael Smith. A lot of action on the racetrack, but a big separation between the leaders and this second group.
Yeah, again, Joseph Ralph out there. He's laid his cards on the table. They are out. He's playing them. This is his hand right now. So we'll see how that goes. As we look at these 4 cars here, they've kind of got in line, maybe thinking to themselves, all right, we got 19 to go. Let's just kind of get in line here. See if we can catch those people in front of us. Obviously some of these guys have some something on the line here as far as championships concerned, and Jeremy is continuing to stay out there. Nobody's in front of him right now that can threaten him as far as points. So again, I think he's running a very, very smart race.
I think the big thing is, will this pack of 4 be able to catch back up to the 2 leaders or the 2, the second, third place as they're running down Joseph Ralph. You know, what happens when they all start getting closer together and we get into those late laps? You know, will we start seeing moves? Will we see a late caution? Will that bring in a pit strategy? You know, will they need to pit again because of the time in which we saw? You know, there's still a lot of unknowns as to how this race is going to finish overall. And then hopefully over the next, 17 to 18 laps, we get to see some pretty good, exciting racing.
Well, I've been doing the math in my head, and if Joseph Ralph can make it to the end on fuel, the leader's been gaining a second about every 4 laps. That should put the leader on his back put Devin Zimmerman on his back bumper with about 4 laps to go. And that could make for a really interesting finish as we watch this race wind down. Now 17 to go at Charlotte.
Well, getting there and passing are 2 different things. So we talked about that air bubble earlier. Obviously, Joseph might be on significantly older tires at this point. I'm not sure that's going to be a huge factor. I'm more worried about his fuel. So getting there, great. Passing him, I guess we'll see.
Well, that's one of the things. If he can make it fuel-wise, every gallon of gas is 8 pounds. So if you're starting to kick that out, if the car weighs a little bit less, make it a little bit quicker is the way I would be starting to think about it.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword. So yeah, I'm a little quicker, but am I a little looser in the tail end? Maybe. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, again, Adam, you know as well as I do, I don't think tires make a huge difference with these cars, especially this track. As we watch kind of some jockeying for position back here, this is our best race on the track right now. As our leader is now under 3 seconds and closing fast. Devin closing on Joseph Ralph for sure.
Zimmerman closing on Joseph Ralph. Ralph leading with 16 laps to go. Justin Jarrett in third. Behind them in this second group, it's the 89 of Corey Harridge's just in front of the 09 of Jeremy Gaiman. Those 2 cars in 4th and 5th place on the field. Those are the top 2 points positions in the race tonight. And this is championship night, so every position is going to matter between those 2 cars.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like our best race on the track as we watch Jeremy and Corey race here. Corey's 3 points behind Jeremy coming in, so Jeremy's 1 position behind him right now, so it's 2 points. So he knows I don't have to pass him. I don't have to pass him to win this championship. I just need to make sure that he doesn't go and get 2 more positions. I don't know what happens if we have a tie. I guess that'll be interesting. We'll let Andy and Tommy figure that thing out.
Yeah, they're gonna have to race it out.
It's one of those things that the admin team will have to sit down and be like, how do you split that up? Traditionally be the number of wins or the best highest number of finishes, however it breaks down, is normally how that would go. But I don't actually know how that would go.
We'll come up with something creative and challenging for these veterans.
Yeah,
that's beyond my pay scale.
Don't make it an obstacle course.
2-man
There's enough obstacles on the race.
It's an obstacle course.
Yeah.
2-man Enduro. That's what we're doing.
Devin Zimmerman is closing on Joseph Ralph. The lead has shrunk to 1.5 seconds. There are 13 laps to go. Zimmerman and Jarrett nose to tail using the draft to close on Joseph Ralph. Behind them, it's the 89 of Corey Harridge continuing to hold off Jeremy Gaiman. Just behind them, the 10 of Michael Smith. Those are your top 6 as we close in on the finish at Charlotte.
Yeah, very interesting. Obviously, Justin, fuel is not an issue, and he's opened up quite a big lead behind Corey with 12 to go, 3 seconds ahead. He's definitely, as Devin has gone right around now, so Devin is taking the lead. The question is, can Justin and Corey catch him? I'm not 100% sure as we kind of shake through on the times here.
It looks to me like it may be that the 35 of Ralph finally had to pit for fuel, as we didn't see him at all go past this group. It is now Devin Zimmerman with the lead, Jarrett second, Corey Harridge is third, and the 09 of Gaiman in fourth with Michael Smith rounding out the top 5. Those 5 cars battling for position, well, those 3 cars battling for position, the 2, the 89 and the 09, are the top 2 in the points. As long as the running position stays the same, it looks to me like we'll have a 1-point championship battle.
Yeah, and that, you got to think about it, right? You pushing right now. You got the second place person in front of you. You know, you got a little bit of cushion behind. There's not a lot of pressure with the way the racing is going. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get up and be able to catch Zimmerman and Jarrett, which is interesting to see that how the 3 and 4 car draft isn't as fast as the 2 car draft. So that's something for everybody to learn for future super speedway style races. And, you know, I think that's an interesting component because this is really separated. And, you know, I would hope to think maybe in the last few laps we can get up on the leaders and see what they've got going there, and if whether Justin Jarrett is going to be able to do anything with Devin Zimmerman over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we can switch over and watch this race between Devin and Justin, that would be great. Not that we don't appreciate the 3 guys behind them. They're doing a fantastic job. But as we close in on less than 10 to go here, and, you know, very, very close racing as we look for a lead or pass here.
It's the 85 on the outside. It's the Justin Jarrett. He's trying to find his way around the 33. They touch. That's going to make Jarrett slide up the racetrack. He keeps it off the walls. They come into the tri-oval. And Devin Zimmerman's going to lead with 8 laps remaining. It's Zimmerman on the inside, Jarrett on the outside. Lap traffic coming into play. That's the 81 of Gudenkauf. The 33 of Zimmerman may be pulling a little bit of draft. That helps him get by the 85 as they come out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, lap traffic playing a little bit of a factor here. We'll see how these 2 guys clear.
Crash, and it's the leader in the wall. Oh, that's just a terrible break for Devin Zimmerman. He leads most of the race, gets into a little trouble in traffic, and that puts him in the wall and puts the 85 of Justin Jarrett out front with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, I couldn't really see what was going on there. It looked like Justin Jarrett moved to the inside behind the lap car, and I don't know if there was contact or what happened there, but it looked like the lap car of Kurt with the Crazy Vet fam. He got sideways and up into the outside wall. We didn't get a caution from that, you know, so we don't know how that's going to shake out. But now we got a different scenario. We got a single car, and now we got a group of a pack of 3. Are there enough laps for them to run down Justin Jarrett over these final laps of the race?
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I know we all know Kurt. He's a very clean racer. It just looks like those guys are racing around him, took the air off the back of his car. He definitely got loose. I think that's just one of those racing deals that we see oftentimes. So Corey and Jeremy.
Corey and Jeremy now running second and third. That's Heritage is in second and Jeremy Gaiman in third. Those 2 cars still racing for position, racing for a championship. It'll be interesting to see what happens. If you're Michael Smith's spotter or you're his crew chief, what do you say to him? Do you tell him that the 2 cars in front of him are only separated by 1 point for the championship, or do you just let him race it out without that knowledge?
I think if it's one of those things that, it's one of those things of, like, I think if you're in that situation, there's 2 ways to look at it. Like, you can be the respectful driver, not force the issue, let them race it out, or you know that that's the situation. You put some pressure on them, and maybe they'll just give away because they don't want to be in that bad situation, so it's something from there.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the spotter, I'm telling them, you know, this is a points race behind you. You know, you try to be respectful. And you do it because, man, if you're in that position in the future, you would hope that someone would extend the same courtesy to you. So I you know, if it's me, I'd like to know about it, especially if I'm only racing for position here, not points on a championship. I'd want to know.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. If I were in that spot and I wasn't racing for the win, I'd want those 2 guys to settle the points race between them. And that's what we're seeing now. There's 4 laps left. The 89 of Corey Heriges is 1 spot ahead of the 09 of Gaiman. Behind them, it's the 10 of Smith. Out front, it looks like Justin Jarrett is going to be able to hang on to this lead. I don't think they've got enough laps to run the leader down.
It doesn't really look like this group is able to close in on the single car of Justin Jarrett at any rate of significant rate of speed. We're at 2.3 seconds. It seems like it's really holding right around there, and we've only going to have 2.5 laps to go for the closing laps of the season.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Justin, there's no more cars to pass, so there's no more points for him to gain, and that's, you know, he's got to take some solace in the fact that, hey, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to win this race. He's got a good chance to with looks like 3 to go here. But there's no more points he can get. So he did the best he could, and that's the way it shook out. Looks like Jeremy's got a definite shot at winning this here. As we go down the back stretch with 2 to go. And what a fantastic race! I'm impressed with these guys from where they started this season to where they are now. When they talked about going to trucks, I kind of cringed a little, but I think this group's ready to move up to that.
It looks like Justin Jarrett is going to continue to lead this race. It'll be Justin Jarrett out front, followed by the 89 of Heritage, then the 09 of Gaiman. These cars still racing hard. These drivers pushing the race cars as hard as they can. We are on the white flag lap. There is 1 to go, and it looks like it's going to be Justin Jarrett that's going to end up taking home the victory.
Yeah, and Justin's done a really good job. He's competed all season long. He did miss a race partway through. So this is a great way to finish off the season that he, did have the best of seasons, the former champion. Great way to cap this one off to prepare moving into season 3 of our TDR Veterans League.
Corey Heritage finishes up in the second spot with Jeremy Gaiman third. I think that will make for a 1-point gap for the TDR Vets League champion. Behind Gaiman, it's the 10 car of Michael Smith, who looks like he's going to come home in the 4th spot. An excellent race. Devin Zimmerman, the newcomer, flexing some muscle early and just running into a little bit of bad luck late in the race.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not of his making. I think he had a good shot at winning this race and just got caught up in a little bit of a racing incident. Honestly, I think this was a very clean race. I think it was a great race by these guys. I was extremely impressed with how things shook out. As we finish up here and look at Jeremy's photo again, I loved looking at these photos in the beginning. Honestly, a bunch of incredible badasses that just so awesome. You can't say enough good things about these guys.
Yeah, this has been an incredible league. It's so amazing that the TDR group has been able to put this on, and we're able to come out here and broadcast it, to be able to support our, active and retired veterans with the work that they're doing. Congratulations to Jeremy Gaiman on what is going to be the season 2 champion. That's an exciting accomplishment. I think it's exciting to have new people like Devin Zimmerman who come in their first race and make a little bit of noise, getting them ready for what season 3 can be. And we can talk a little bit about that, but I think we're going to want to talk with some of the individuals that were involved in tonight's race and see what they've got to say about it.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Jeremy Gaiman on an excellent championship. And don't forget, Justin Jarrett took home the victory tonight. So 2 outstanding performances, 1 for the season, 1 for the race, 2 excellent drivers, and we appreciate their talents and what they've done to serve our country.
Absolutely. A huge thank you not only to these guys for serving our country, but this broadcast team for helping us put on what we do here at TDR to highlight these veterans. So, gentlemen, who would you like to talk to first? With in-car waiting radios on, we have Harrigus, Jacobs, Jarrett, Gudenkopf, Smith, and Zimmerman. I think Zimmerman's probably the most interesting to talk to.
Surprise us, Andy.
Let's bring in Jarrett, the season 1 champion. Hey, Justin, this is Tommy in the booth. You got a read on me?
I do, Tommy. How's it going?
Going good, brother. So quite the race. Congratulations on the W for the night. Obviously, you weren't in the points contention, but as our season 1 champion, I wanted to bring you in just to see how you felt about season 2 and what you're looking forward for season 3.
Gentlemen, you got me?
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
We're gonna be pulling you guys in one by one here in just a moment. All right.
That's good.
Thanks, guys. Hey, great race, everybody.
Driver. We have a lot of drivers to get to, so I'm going to throw you up. But again, congratulations on season 1, and it looks like Jeremy Gaiman is going to be the one taking home that season 2 trophy board.
Tell him I said congrats.
Tell him yourself.
Was he not runner-up season 1?
I don't recall where he came in season 1. I figured you would know better than we would.
I'm pretty sure he was runner-up season 1. So I mean, him grab season 2 is just fitting.
Yep, I'm pretty sure you're probably right. Well, it's good talking to you, man. We hope to see you part-time season 3. Best of luck with all you're doing with TDR. I hear you're actually hosting the league on Sunday afternoons. Is that correct?
Yep, I will be hosting 305 sprint cars. It's going to be Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope we get a good amount of people to turn out for that league. It's going to be a lot of door banging, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we know you like to bang doors. The whole left side of your car was dirty. You know, if the left side's dirty, that means you're passing. What's the start date for that league?
Let me check. Because honestly, I think it's 5/4, but let me double check on the date real quick. Take 2 seconds.
I already knew the answer to the question before I asked it. I just wanted the opportunity for you to tell me. You are correct. It is 5/4. I have some other drivers to get to. Justin, great talking to you. Congratulations on your season 1 championship. Looking forward to your part-time run on season 3. All right, gentlemen, we've got a lot more drivers available. Who do you guys want to talk to?
Let's grab Zimmerman first.
Zimmerman, and then we've got Gaiman just jumped in. I figure we'll pull him in right after.
Yep.
All right, here comes Zimmerman. Hey, 13, this is Tommy in the booth. You got a read on me?
Hey, this is Zimmerman. How's it going?
Zimmerman, quite the run. Newcomer to the league, and you really you made a statement there early on. Didn't go your way. It looks like you wound up getting caught up in some traffic and up into the wall, and the season 1 champion actually got the W tonight. How'd you feel about the league? Was the driving clean? Did you feel good about it?
Yeah. That was kind of just what I wanted to do. I wanted to come in make a little statement, give them a preview for next season. So that's all I wanted to do, and I wanted to win, but yeah, we were coming to the lap car, and I just I didn't know what he was going to do. Normally they go high, he went low, so I tried to go high, and then Justin didn't follow me, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to lose it. Try to get back low and get behind him, but I was already right there. It was a bad deal to begin with. No matter what I did, Justin was going to do the opposite. So yeah, it is what it is.
You definitely made a statement. I mean, you came in, you got the pole, you led every lap up until that point, outside of the pit strategy that went on. What's your racing background? Being new to the league, we don't know a lot about you. Are you coming back for season 3? What can we expect from you?
Yeah, so I just joined Tyler Daniels Racing. Big thanks to them for hosting us and putting on this type of league. So I actually don't have any racing background. I've wanted to do racing. I grew up in North Carolina. Wanted to do racing forever. All my friends raced, but my mom didn't allow me to. So yeah, they wouldn't allow me to race. So I just kind of got stuck not doing it. And I always wanted to. Grew up watching NASCAR, F1, everything. And when iRacing came along, I jumped on it. I've been on iRacing for about a year, and yeah, it's fun. I love doing it. I race in a couple other leagues, but yeah, this one I saw the vets only league, and that really attracted me to want to race for these guys and support other veterans and stuff like that. So I am active duty Air Force. I'm staff sergeant at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina, and yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to season 3, moving to the trucks. I love driving the trucks, so hopefully I can be just as dominant, except maybe get the W in those races.
Well, Devin, we can't wait to see that 33 up there. We appreciate you thanking us, but at the end of the day, the thank you always belongs to the veterans. Absolutely. The whole reason we put this league on is to give you guys that thank you, right? You guys that I race, you don't get a lot of highlights because iRacing's so chaotic, right? There's not a lot going on. So what can we do to focus on those that gave us the ability to do it? Then this is a little bit of that. So I'm sure you got some other veteran buddies out there. Tell them what we're doing over here. Bring them to the league. I'd like to see a really big field that first race. And from what I saw tonight, I think we can put that 33 in victory lane.
Yeah, that's the goal. I definitely want to put in victory lane. It's going to be supporting, was it Air Force Gaming? Air Force has started up a gaming league. I'm not sure if the Army or Marines or any of them have started it. I think they have. But the Air Force has, and they've expanded to iRacing, and I'm one of the founding members of the iRacing portion of Air Force Gaming. So just got to give them a shout out. Also, I have a bunch of other sponsors: Hammerdown Motorsports, Tank Racing, Hooters, Red Bull, all of them. I was a Sim Racing Merch, Sim Speed Shop. And then, of course, my wife's business, Honey Press. They were on the hood. They'll be on the hood of the truck. Any stationery or paper needs, she's got you. So,
for a guy who's not been involved in racing, you got this thing down cold.
Right. Every sponsor, everybody that put paint on that car gets a shout out.
I mean, I did go to college and study to be a weatherman. So the TV persona and radio persona, I kind of think I got down.
So I have one question for Devin. Just one.
Sure.
So the gentleman who was chasing you all night, Justin.
Yes.
Since he was behind you, you didn't get to really see the back of his car, but do you realize he has a box of crayons on the back of his car?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I would have liked to not have to see those box of crayons at all the whole night.
That's the way it goes.
Let him stare at my Air Force Gaming on the bumper of mine.
Well, Devin, look forward to seeing future things from Air Force Gaming too. We'll reach out to you outside of the Vets League. I'm sure there's some other possibilities to get you involved with what we do over at Tyler Daniels Racing. However, I got to let you go because we have a champion to congratulate tonight. So, Devin, have a good evening. Thank you for your service.
Thanks,
you ran really strong. Looking forward to what you bring to season 3.
Yes, thank you guys again, and congratulations to the champion.
Absolutely. Take care. All right, you guys ready for Jeremy?
You
Absolutely.
bet.
Here he comes. Number 09, Jeremy Gaiman, runner-up season 2. Season champion, or runner-up season 1, season champion, season 2. We're gonna need your address.
Do not give it over to YouTube.
Yeah.
So not right now, buddy.
He muted himself, and then he moved himself. Muted himself, and then moved himself to the in-car waiting channel.
He does not want to talk.
He wants to talk.
I think that was an error. I'm going to move him back. Jeremy, this is your last chance to live in this limelight. How do you feel, brother? And he jumps right back into in-car waiting.
Let me go talk to him.
He's hitting
Please
the
do.
wrong button. I'd like to talk to Justin the person and see his impression because I know that Adam and I did a race with him in that was a New Zealand track, correct?
But
Jeremy.
That's all right. I'll just put your name on a sticky note on my monitor.
Jeremy.
I'll remember it for next race.
Can Jeremy Gaiman hear me? Jeremy Gaiman.
he was here.
They might have went AFK.
Well, we
I thought
keep
you said
pulling him
super
in.
kid.
He keeps pulling himself back.
No.
He's too happy right now to talk.
He's
Nope,
gone.
there he goes.
Gone.
Be gone. Man, he don't want to
Yeah, I
talk about his
He said something about having to get off and feed the family. So I'm pretty sure that's what he was
Okay.
doing. He was probably trying to get off. Yeah, he said something about he had to finish getting dinner ready for the kids and stuff.
tenfold.
Back.
We'll get
I'll
you
take
guys.
it.
Hey, Devin,
Yes,
have you set a picture of your truck in as well?
I have not. I'm not done painting it. I gotta finish it. It's
Okay.
almost. I've been painting like 5 cars today. So
Oh, you're good. Just when you do get it sent in, so we can change your graphic. Okay.
it's there.
Thank you.
I'll
sir.
get it.
Jeremy, you got me now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
All right, we're gonna pull you in here in a minute. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Excuse me to everyone out there listening. If you've got $500, we would love to run a commercial halfway through the show.
All right, our champion is ready for us now that he has gone and popped the bottle. He popped the bottle of champagne.
I was going to say, it must have been shaky hands from the excitement. 100% ready. I can turn his in-car on.
He is ready for you.
All right, Jeremy. Unlike being a season 2 champion on the broadcast, 3rd time's the charm. Do you have a read on me? Jeremy Gaiman.
How about now?
that must have been a really big chug of champagne.
Jeremy, you got us.
You got me?
We got him!
Hey, there he is.
Ironically, you got everybody else this season. How do you feel, man? Feeling good?
Yeah. It kind of. I feel like I kind of stole this one just because I showed up at all the races and a couple guys missed a few. I feel like I got lucky on it.
I wouldn't say that, man. Going in, there weren't very many points between the. Oh, must be having connectivity issues. We lost him. That's just how fast he is. We couldn't keep up. He ran the booth.
Well, listen, if you guys still want to do commercials, if you want to do a commercial, you can make a commercial about how you hate commercials, and that could be your commercial.
Honestly,
like meta.
Honestly, if you would put the production in and you made a commercial about how much commercials are terrible, we would consider running that commercial. Here's
what I'm thinking. I slide in. I'm in front of a green screen with the worst suit, and I'm saying, "Hey, are you like me and you hate commercials?"
And that's the end of the commercial? Yes. All right, we have our season 2 champion one more time.
I stepped away. Did he leave again?
Yeah, he's having connectivity. I'm going to bring him in one more time. Hold on one second. Jeremy, it's Tommy in the booth. 4th time is the charm. Do you have a read on me?
Yes.
Yay!
All right, don't touch anything except for your push to talk button for like the next 2 minutes, man. How do you feel?
Good.
Good. All right, interview over. Throw him out. No.
I tell you, it sounds like we were more nervous for him up in the booth than he was out there on the racetrack. He's as cool as a cucumber. We were up here sweating.
Jeremy, hey, congratulations, buddy. You're season 2 champ.
Thanks. It feels good. I don't feel like I ran well this season. I had a couple races that I was running well and feel like I lost it late. Phoenix had a top 5 running, was running 4th and got wrecked on the last lap. Just happened to keep it together well enough to stay high enough and have a good run here at the last one to finish it off.
Yeah, man, it was a tight battle. Obviously, Justin Jarrett, season 1 champion, ran away with the W tonight. He wasn't in points contention, but you were jockeying all night with other guys right around you in points. Did that play into how you were driving? Was there a little bit, I don't need to pass this guy because I'm going to win, or I got to go as fast as I can to make sure I stay ahead? How much did knowing in the back of your mind where you were and where your competitors were in points factor into how you were driving tonight? That was a long question, wasn't it?
What? Just making sure I don't bump the wrong button here.
He was just really thinking about it.
Gotta get those shaky hands under control.
Yeah. No, I knew Kevin was having issues with connection, so I just had to keep Corey close. I know I had a spot or 2 in hand on him, so I just wanted to keep him right in front of me, and knew I didn't have to pass him. Just needed to keep him right in front of me.
Yeah, well, it's like you said, you say you felt like you stole it. I mean, showing up every night's not stealing it. Showing up every night is part of racing. I mean, people get busy, real life happens and we can't run every night, but showing up every night. Look at Kurt Gudenkopf. He has had not a ton of luck on these tracks, and he was sitting 5th in points coming into this race just because he shows up every night.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Appreciate all you guys do, Kurt, running the season, and you guys doing this for us. I go back and watch these broadcasts, and they're a lot of fun for us to watch afterwards and share with our families and friends, and we appreciate all you guys do for us. Thanks.
Well, I guarantee you'll enjoy this one right up to your interview.
It went a little off the rails right around 3 to 7 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I got one question for Jeremy before he takes off, or we boot him out, or he loses connection. We're going into season 3. We're skipping everything between street stocks. We're not doing late models.
Good point.
Super late models. No modified. No ARCA. We are jumping division over division over division over division to jump up to trucks. How do you envision season 3 working out for you?
I
love it.
Yeah, I think
I'm a man of many words.
I think this will. I think it's gonna be a big jump, and some of the tracks, especially with tire wear issues, are gonna be interesting.
Well, I think I
different level of racing than even the street stocks, between the tires, with the fuel, the type of tracks that you're going to. Not gonna be that many short tracks, a lot of bigger tracks, and what that racing is going to be like. So I know for me, I look forward to the next season. You guys have put on a great show every Saturday night. I've enjoyed my time, and thank you for your service, and to everyone else that's part of this group, and congratulations on your championship.
Thank you guys.
So
great job, Jeremy.
Before you go, Jeremy, I want to know if Justin the person has a question for Jeremy.
Oh, please.
No.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think he's rubbing off on me.
He did say no with a question mark.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to start doing this myself, man. This looks like a lot of fun. Is it?
Yeah. So for coming from an outside perspective, somebody isn't into the iRacing deal. It wasn't a racing fan at all prior to, us kind of introducing you to this. I mean, you got a champion sitting here who's raced a full season in these cars. You saw what the wrecks look like,
Yeah.
So
and he's speechless.
Yeah. I don't I'm so new to it. It's like I'm thinking of a Brian Regan thing. He went to a butterfly thing, and they said, if you have any butterfly questions, and he's like trying to come up with questions, but he doesn't know what to ask. So I congratulate you, man. You sound like you're really good at this, and you just won some, huge thing. And I think it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm jealous. That's all.
Are you jealous? Because I got information today. Most of the guys at TDR already know about this, but I got something in the mail today that I've been waiting for a long time for. And rumor has that I'm going to have an extra set of steering wheels and pedals.
What?
Right. If I sent them to you.
Yeah.
Would you race?
Yeah, certainly, man. I mean, the only thing that's holding me back is getting that stuff. And then of course
I'm going to send them the beginner set.
Then of course,
please do.
Then of course, getting the tracks and the
with the Mohawk helmet.
Just use the controller. We got guys in the bet league that use controller. Just use the controller.
You think buying groceries is expensive? Wait till you try racing.
Oh man, it'd be like when I tried hockey.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, as long as you don't try freestyle rapping, we're good.
Oh, so you've heard me then?
No, just Andy. But I associate the two would be pretty closely together.
Well, we were going to unleash this later, but the news is we're going to start a rap group together. So you guys can help name it.
I don't think that's appropriate.
That's a good name.
Honestly, Justin, I don't think either race is going to be happy.
Oh man! So,
all right.
Jeremy.
But no, seriously, congratulations on the win. And of course, thank you for your service, and I will keep watching, and I'm sure you'll be back next season winning again. So good on you, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Jeremy. Winning a championship is hard, man. It's hard, and it doesn't matter what it's in. So you won one. Take pride in it. Great job. I appreciate your service.
And
Awesome job, Jeremy. Thank you so much.
And Jeremy, I will be messaging you to get your personal information so we can send you your award.
Yeah, man, you get one more piece of paper to hang on the wall.
Thank you. I'll look forward to it, and it'll hang right here next to my rig, and I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Try to settle down. Temper your excitement, sir.
I'll do that.
Great job, Jeremy. Great job, man.
And again, with these veterans races, please, guys, we know you appreciate it. Stop thanking us. The thank you belongs to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I moved the champion out. Harrigus and Gudenkopf have joined us in the booth. Corey, Kurt, end of season 2. Are you tired?
Yeah.
That was a heck of a run. Heck of a race. Like, not just tonight, but this whole season. Corey's been running up front. Kurt, even though Kurt's been mired with, these random issues that keep happening every race, top 5 in points coming in, and I think he might end up with a top 4.
I don't know. We'll see. That was it was a rough night, but it's a good night. I'm glad we all finished, and I'm super excited to go to season 3 with this group. It's awesome. It's awesome. You can have all the failures in the world, but just be happy to be racing, So yeah.
I mean, no one takes on the challenge like the veterans do, and to Adam's point earlier, we're going from street stocks, the beginner league, the rub on each other cars, to skipping all the divisions in between. We're going to throw them in trucks. How do you, Kurt, see these veterans adapting